Welcome or welcome back to Pewdiepie. I'm Zui and I hope you enjoyed today's video. But before we get right into it, I'm obligated to remind you to click either the like or dislike button, commenting something down below, and of course sharing the video so more people can see and enjoy it. This is very important as it helps with the YouTube algorithm. I want you to know that your help is greatly appreciated. If you have any suggestions or ideas for a story, my Discord link is in my link tree that is down in the description, as well as my Patreon and Ko-fi for any donations you may want to send my way. Every cent counts. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's video. It's been a while since you two had a fight. Well, not that long of a while, but still. He had thrown something and almost hit you. And you called him a narcissistic man-child, while at the same time trying not to vomit all over the place. So you left right then and there. You're furious, but sadly, these arguments weren't that super rare. Bakugo was quite violent, but he never really got physical with you. But every time you even as much as tried to criticize him, he would become so unreasonably mad. Throwing insults and threats was a regularity. With a scowl, you pulled out your wallet. You had a card, some cash. Maybe you could look for a hotel. With a sadness-stricken heart, you sat down on a nearby bench at a bus stop and went deep into thought. It was late. So very late. The only places that were still open were bars and love hotels. For obvious reasons, no, you bit your lower lip in thought. If you were going to spend the night at an overpriced love hotel, you would definitely not do that alone. And since your boyfriend was out of the picture, at least for tonight, and depending on how the next few hours would turn out, ex-boyfriend, yeah, you smiled to yourself. This sounded like a plan. But at the same time, you also weren't in the mood. Such a strange feeling, being both needy for romance, love and attention, while also being super pissed at the one person. Suddenly you heard a growling noise. Immediately you were on edge. "Who's there?" you said challengingly. But then you heard the noise again, and finally you realized what it was. You were hungry. Desperately even. Probably thanks to your quirk. It was called Grendel. And Grendel was a vile little mutation. It made your stomach super elastic, and the acid it produced was incredibly corrosive to metal and flesh. It was one of those quirks, you know the ones, that make it easier for you to kill someone rather than merely hurt. But you had come up with a solution for that. You would drink ungodly amounts of milk. The white liquid would then settle on top of your stomach acid, which would then slowly dissolve it. And that would also mean that the acid was less corrosive overall. But that's why your stomach was always a little bloated, and by now you had gotten used to the sloshing around in your guts. Right now, however, you were really thin and borderline skinny. You haven't eaten anything in 4 hours. Once more you looked at your wallet, before gently tapping your tummy. What to get?
The obvious answer was going home and eat the food Bakugo would have inevitably cooked by now to calm down. But that would mean he wins the argument. And you were not letting that slide. Hell, you didn't even remember why you were arguing. Hungry, you began wandering the streets. The more time passed, the more stupid you felt. You should have at least brought some snacks. Finally, a tiny food cart came into view. Already having decided what you want the moment you saw it, you approached it with a wide grin. However, your social anxiety made you order just a few fries. Dang it. You were so consumed in your sulking that you didn't notice the big lanky figure that you were walking right into. Well, at least not until your head hit them right in the back. Whoa, whoa! You heard a familiar voice as you recovered from the collision. Beowulf? Is that you? Oh God, what's wrong? Beowulf. That was your hero name. Seemed fitting with your quirk. And that unmistakable voice. That belonged to the number 2 hero Deku, didn't it? Your tear-filled eyes looked up into his kind green ones. Oh, you're crying. Did something happen? He said in a worried tone. Do you need a hug? Deku was always such a dork. Your boyfriend and him were bitter rivals, for reasons still unknown to you. In fact, Bakugo despised the number 2 hero so much, he had forbidden you to talk to him, unless he was present. Such jealousy was kind of adorable. So this seemed to be a once-in-a-lifetime chance. I had a fight with Bakugo, you cried. Deku combed through his hair and sighed. The man was genuinely concerned. Yeah, Kai-chan can get quite angry over nothing sometimes. I'm sorry. For a moment you two just awkwardly stood there while you were quietly sobbing. I need a drink, you groaned, and Deku immediately smiled. It just so happened that there is a great bar nearby. Actually, I was on my way to it before you bumped into me. You almost sounded a little too excited. I don't have that much money, though. I just ordered some food and, my food bills are a little hefty. You said, trying to sound as defenseless as possible. Maybe you could get a few free drinks out of this. He sighed cartoonishly. I guess I can let you borrow some. You gave him a bright smile. Anyways, just follow me. He led you through the nightly streets of Kamino Ward, which all of a sudden seemed much less oppressive. The bar Deku promised you turned out to be a street bar, and he seemed to be a regular. Hey, Tomoko! He greeted the woman currently working. She seemed to be in her 40s. Over a radio, 80s music played very quietly. Not even you could hear it. Well, you could make out some words, but not enough. And after you two ordered your drinks, Deku spoke up. So, what happened? You scratched the back of your head before answering. I guess it's just every topic we talk about seems to be related to himself. And whenever I have a problem, it's him who gets annoyed. You sighed. Do you get what I mean? Deku made a noise somewhere between a groan and a thoughtful hum. I guess. Maybe, he finally said. You groaned. What I mean is he can bother me with any crap, but I dare to have a problem myself that it's like the apocalypse has just started. Your drinks arrived, and you thanked Tomoko, who gave you a motherly smile, before she moved on to the next customers. The alcoholic drink burned your throat and left your brain lovingly clouded. Oh, this is really some good stuff, you mumbled. Deko grinned. I always go here after difficult interviews with the press, since this place is so small and somewhat secluded. The bar was sandwiched in an alley between a yoga studio and an office building. Here I can enjoy some semi-solitude. He leaned forward and whispered. Also, Tomoko reminds me of my mom sometimes, so I leave some extra tip money. He winked and returned to a more comfortable sitting position. Anyways, we were talking about your relationship problems? You looked down at your hands, feeling bad that you had to talk about your relationship problems at all. You really needed to blow off some steam, though. At first, you wanted to cut Bakugo some slack, since he wasn't here, and only talk about minor nitpicks. But the more drinks you drank, and more time passed, your little nitpicks turned into genuine rants. And as you kept going and going, you slowly began to realize the root of your issues. Katsuki was just way too hot-headed and self-centered. You had even realized that you had continued to cry. Genuine tears. Until you felt a warm hand gently press on your shoulder. As you looked up, all you could see was the warm smile Deku was giving you. Things like this happen. I'm sure you will make the right choice in the end. With that, he meant a potential breakup. Up until now, that choice seemed to be so far away. But now that you looked at him, it was obvious to you. Deku, you sniffled. Are you single? You could see his shoulders tense up, and his cheeks flushed. Well, no, not really. Or maybe? Look, I have a couple of female friends, but no girlfriend. Let's call it like that, he stuttered. Such a dork, you thought with a smug smile. Look, he started. I don't want you to think I invited you to this because I want to make you break up with Kak-chan. Well, this really wasn't his intention at first. But while you were laying down your issues, he thought about how much better you deserved. This better not necessarily being him, but he would welcome it now that he thought about it. You giggled. I wasn't thinking that. Not one bit. You reassured him and smiled. But you paused. Do you want to know the one thing that agitates me to no end? He tilted his head. He went from saying I love you to saying and me you, and then to I know. While you were still smiling, a hot tear ran down your cheek. I don't want to look like I'm overly sensitive, but when you say I love you to someone, and all they say is I know, it feels devastating. Especially since I know myself that I don't have the constitution to say it to him should he ever say I love you himself. You sniffled. telling myself it's because he's under a lot of stress, but at least give me some time of the day to say I love you too. Why is that so much to ask? Since when is it that... Why? Why can't I be inconvenient? Why do I always have to function? I'm a pro hero too, for goodness sake. I can give him the time of day. You went quiet, and eventually Deku spoke up. I assume this was the reason for the fight tonight? You nodded. I feel unloved. And I feel guilty for feeling unloved. Like it's my fault he is like this. Gently, Deku embraced you, and you leaned into him. His green hair smelled like vanilla. You two are a thing since the end of high school, right? You nodded into his shoulder. Wanna know something? He chuckled. After the thing with Orochako ended in tears, I developed a crush on you for a very long time. But because of Bakugo, I was too scared to ask you out. Memories of your time at UA flooded your mind. Tender moments with both him and Bakugo. Well, at least when Bakugo allowed it. And you couldn't help but compare the two of them. Deku. I don't want to be alone tonight. You eagerly awaited his answer. Me neither. He whispered into her ear. Slowly you exhaled, and your faces went closer before gently pressing your lips onto his.